Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am photographing more items to sell on eBay. I will say all of the items I'm photographing right now came from an auction. It was an online auction. I have not done an in-person auction since my youngest was probably 2, so for about 5 years. Just with COVID and everything, I haven't gone back to do an auction, but one of our local auction houses honestly has almost completely stopped doing live auctions. They'll do live large equipment auctions and like real estate auctions, but for their smaller auctions, they do almost everything online, which I really like. What does that mean? One, the bids could be higher because there's more people to bid on it. More people can sit at home and bid on it. They don't have to go there. They don't have to stand in line. They don't have to get hot. They don't have to, be bodily functional for this. This online auctions are honestly more disability friendly. So individuals that may not be able to leave their houses or may not be able to stand for long periods of time are able to then bid on these auctions, which I'm sure is bringing in more money for the auctioneer. Conversely, the auctioneer is actually aging and he is having difficulties with that. So this is benefiting everybody. It's benefiting his clients. It's benefiting his bottom line. It's benefiting his own personal health. But he posts a catalog. Every month he'll do a consignment auction where if you don't have enough things to do a whole real estate auction or whole estate auction, maybe you only have 10 items, you can take it to the consignment auction. I do believe you have to pay more percentage-wise when you sell it at the consignment auction than you do if you're doing a whole estate. But I'm not 100% on that. But this allows people to bring like a table full of items and they can put it in the auction. So every month he'll do a consignment auction. Sometimes there's a lot, sometimes there's a little. When I say a little, I'm saying under 200 items. When I say a lot, over 1,000. And he'll have them at his auction house and he'll take pictures. Unfortunately, I could see how this could be really annoying, but unfortunately he'll take one picture. That's it. And usually the picture is not good, or it's blurry, or it's far away. He'll take a picture of a box, but not really get close to the box, and he'll say, lot 200, and not describe it. He does not describe things at all. This is a heavy cast iron tea kettle. It is relatively new. It still has a barcode on it. The barcode did not come up to anything. But they still sell because they are heavy cast iron. It was never used. The inside is perfect. You can even see there the basket for the tea, for the loose tea, is spotless. But back to the auction. He'll be like, box, lot, and then not say what it is. Or he'll have really expensive items and then not say what they are. And he'll lot random things together. So I want to say this stuff that I'm going through now was a randomness, that we wanted one thing out of the box, or what my husband and I do, which means we get a bunch of stuff. We'll go in and put dollars on a bunch of lots, and usually we don't get those lots. Usually we get outbid on the dollar lots. However, sometimes we do not get outbid on the dollar lots, and sometimes we end up with lots and lots of boxes of random stuff. Does that mean we usually dispose of most of it? Yeah. It is what it is. Some of the stuff is broken. One of the boxes, my husband pulled something out and had a severe allergic reaction to it. His face swelled up. We don't know what was in it. We just threw the whole thing away because it's not worth it. And these are coming out of people's houses. You don't know what's in the houses. You don't know what chemicals are there. I swear to God, he will auction off used chemicals. He'll say like lot of shelf, and it is just half-used containers of chemicals. And those chemicals you have to pay to dispose of in our area. So I'm like, you're literally hoping people pay you to get rid of your garbage. Okay. So and I think I've said previous stories where he'll say like tent, and we bought it, like I bought 4 tents and they were all under $5 a piece. I'm like, not a really large amount. So it's like 4 tents under $5 a piece. Not a single one of them was a tent. Not a single one. I take that back. One was a tent and it had absolutely no poles with it. So at that point, it's a parachute. One was like a gazebo. One was a rocking camp chair, which was actually really, really nice. It was a Coleman rocking camp chair, and it was worth way more than the $250 I paid for it. So really happy with that purchase. We ended up giving the gazebo away. It was one of those ones where you will get a divorce putting it together. My husband and I put it together in the backyard to make sure all the pieces were there, and it took over 2 hours, and we weren't terribly fond of each other when we were done with it. So we're like, yeah, we're getting rid of this divorce-making gazebo. And anybody who's ever put together tents that are challenging, yeah, that one sucked. It had aluminum poles that you'd stick yeah, no. We've done enough camps now. I'm going to 5 camps this summer, that we're just not wasting our time on tents that suck. We did buy a huge tent. It's a 12-person tent. It's 3 rooms. I absolutely love it. We jokingly call it my carport because it is the size of a carport. Like, I could park my minivan in it. And, but like when we go to camping, if there's going to be really crowded and stuff, they'll be like, you cannot bring your carport. I brought my carport last year. It had a living room. So I had one room, I turned into my bedroom, and another room I turned into a living room. I had a love seat in there. I put a blanket down as a carpet. It was really bougie. I was there for a week. I was making myself comfortable. But most of the time we're using our 4 or 8 man tents where we go. Because again, I can't be bougie and bring my big one. That being said, I just got back from camp with my daughter. We were there for a week. I had to sleep on a cot. I cannot sleep on a cot. I am too old to sleep on a cot. I'm too wimpy to sleep on a cot. I actually have some physical disorders in which it wasn't great for me. I did it, but it sent me into such a big flare that I had a fever for 2 days afterwards when we got home. So and I was waking up shaking, so it wasn't great. I just have to make sure I have a tent that is big enough to put an air mattress in. I prefer the deep air mattresses, so like the 16 to 18 inch air mattresses. They really physically help, and if I'm not physically doing well at night, during the day I'm not physically doing well either. So I just need a tent big enough to fit that in it, and usually our 8-man tent does the job for that. We actually need to go through and do inventory of all of our tents. My son got a new tent for Christmas that is currently wandering around his scout troop somewhere. They got a mix up on tents. So we're not sure where it's at, but we'll figure it out. We know general vicinity of where it's at. No one has stolen it or anything. It's just we grabbed the wrong tents. But my middle child is now eyeing my oldest old tent and wanting to use it to camp by herself because he has been camping by himself for the past 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, I want to say right now in our house we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 tents, and there's only 5 people in our house. So that's humorous. We currently have 12 sleeping bags because they are all different. And I've been told that they are all different. It's like, well, why do we need this bag? Well, this is a cold weather bag. This is a mummy bag. This is a hiking bag. Yeah. So and I am just dipping my toes into the camping. I was joking with my husband. My husband is a huge camper, outdoors person. He's just done all that. He's done several high adventures. And this year I'm going to more camps than him. So we were joking about that. I've already been to 1 camp this year and summer hasn't even started. In June I'm going to 2 camps, and then in July I'm going to possibly 2 camps. So it's humorous, and I don't particularly care for camping that much, but I do things for my children. So I care for my children. Camping, meh. But to put out there, I've went camping every single year since I have married my husband, because they do a family camp every year, and I don't think I've even missed a year with babies and all. So there's that. The vases I am listing, they aren't really worth a lot. They are $10 maybe, but again, this came in a box that we probably paid $1 for. It was one of this auction, I distinctly remember, was one of the auctions in which we went, oh, whoops. We bid on a bunch of dollar lots and ended up winning them. Like, I want to say we filled the minivan with dollar lots that we bought, and I don't think we spent over $60 on all this stuff. There was a bunch of like papers and stuff that we ended up getting rid of because we're not really going to resell those. And then there were like sketchbooks and stuff that were partially used. What we did is I just ripped out the unused pages and gave them to my kids to do artwork on. So I try to do stuff like that too, instead of just throwing everything away, try and find uses for it. My setup here, I guess, is a foam board. I prefer foam board to an actual poster board. The foam board holds up a little better and is a little thicker and will stay straight longer, which I like that. And then a trifold display. Trifold, not trifle. Trifle is a dessert. Trifold display. And with the trifold display, that helps really get the background away from things for, like, especially when I'm doing the vases. The vases, I needed to do a front on, and I don't want to show them the mess that is my house, as you can see behind us, the mess that is the house. So I will use a trifold. Because we do not have a specific designated area for eBay, we have our dining room table. And we don't have a designated time for eBay, which we should. We are trying to, as summer is approaching, trying to set some goals for what we want to do this summer. But again, I'm gone for 5 weeks of this summer. And we have other responsibilities too, so I don't know. And at what point do we just go, it hasn't been listed in 2 years, we just need to get rid of it? Because that could quickly be becoming an issue. For better quality of life for us, for better quality of life for our children, for having more area in our house because our kids are getting bigger and they're requiring more area. And unfortunately we have a kid in like every stage of life, so it's not even like we can't get rid of these, we can get rid of these toys. No, we can't. I got a group of 4 pillows. You'll see them continued in the next video that I make, but I got a group of 4 pillows, red, green, blue, and cream. I think the only one I have left is blue. I sold them for roughly $25 a piece because apparently people really like these vintage pillows. I didn't know that. They were at the bottom of a $1 box. I bought the box because it said linens for $1. I really like to sell linens. I like vintage linens. Maybe one sheet in the entire box, and then it was filled with pillows. So, but the pillows have sold for $25 a piece, which is almost $100 when they get all sold. So I won't complain about it too much. Thank you for watching my channel. Please like and subscribe, and have a productive day.